Well, hello, everyone. My name is John Brenneman, and I would like to thank you for joining us for our webinar this evening. We're joined by Robin Pieper with the Globus family of brands. And we're going to get started in just a second. A couple little housekeeping things before we get started. First off, we are taping the webinar. Probably tonight or tomorrow morning, you'll receive a copy of this webinar. So if you want to revisit it, you're of course invited to bring friends and family along. So you can share the webinar with whomever you'd like. We'll actually post it to our YouTube channel. So it'll be up there. So we hope you enjoy the presentation. Real quick, I'm not sure everybody who's on today understands kind of the relationship between MOA and Brenco. So Brenco is actually the travel agency name. We've been around 35 years now. And back in 1998, the Military Officers Association of America, MOA, was looking for a travel partner. And out of the 30,000 plus travel agencies in the country at the time, they selected us to be their affinity travel partner. So we do that under a DBA. So if you're a member of MOA, you actually book through MOA Vacations. The rest of you book through Brenco. It's basically the same company, same agents, same pricing, everything. It's just there's 370,000, 360,000 retired former dependent or active duty military officers in MOA, the Military Officers Association, and we're very proud to be their travel agency partner. So anyway, everything Robin talks about today, if you're a member of MOA, give MOA a call. We'd be happy to help you. If you're not in the military, want to give us a call, take advantage of the same specials. Just give Brenco a call. So without any further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Robin, who is going to talk to us about Escapes by Globus. So Robin, take it away.
Thanks so much. I appreciate you having me here tonight, John, and everybody out there listening today. We are going to talk about a really great opportunity to travel with a product we call Escapes by Globus. Now, some of you might already be familiar with Globus. Some of you might not be. But what I really love about this product is it will give you some great savings. So everybody always wants to know, I know in my family and my group of friends, when's the best time to travel, Robin? When can I get the best deals? Well, that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about Escapes by Globus, and it's all about low season travel. And for us, low season is October to March for all of these particular deals. So keep that in mind. The deals are better, the deals are hotter, the temperatures are a little bit cooler in some of our places, but the crowds are a little smaller, and you can make even better connections with the destination and with the people that live in that destination. So if you are like me and you have a travel budget that you need to stay within each year, these are great because you'll get to travel more often. So all the pricing that I'm going to talk to you about tonight, I say from, $1,000, whatever it might be. These are land only offers. However, we do offer air, and John and his team can add air. We also have some really great and tremendous air specials that we put together with our escapes. So just keep in mind that that is a possibility. It's just because airfare fluctuates so much, I don't include it when I talk about the pricing. So let's talk about, what do we like about Escapes by Globus? What kinds of things are included? Well, you're going to get sightseeing that will be guided, and you'll have that VIP access. And if you've been traveling with Globus in the past, you know what that means. That VIP access might mean that we go in before the site opens for all the regular folks. It also means that when you go to the Eiffel Tower, you don't stand in that really long line. Actually, there's 4 really long lines, one at each of the legs of the Eiffel Tower. You go straight to the front of the line and go to security. And it's pretty sweet that you don't have to stand in that line. Or have you ever been like me when I first started traveling when I was younger and I stood in the wrong line for 2 hours? That's the worst. You won't do that when you're traveling with us. You're also going to have our world-class tour directors and great local guides. So they're still going to be with you to help make sure that you're where you're supposed to be when you have an appointment to be at a special site or maybe a dinner or whatever the case may be. Our local guides are among the best because we really want a local showing you around, right? You don't want to go on vacation and have somebody from, 3 states over or from, a different place trying to tell you where the locals go. You want to hear it from a local. So we employ both of those folks, that tour director that's going to be with you the whole trip, and then local guides each day to go over the different sightseeing aspects of where you're headed. And then local favorites. These are some of the favorite things that I come back from a vacation and talk about. They're always included. They're never extra. And you probably don't buy a vacation because of a local favorite, but I will tell you, they're usually the thing that you talk about the most. For example, we had a sales meeting and one of our local favorites was a tango class. Okay, we were in Argentina and we were paired up. And I still to this day it is so hilarious how we tried to learn how to dance the tango. But imagine your traveling companion, you guys trying to figure something out like that. Or maybe it's a cooking class and you learn how to make Wiener Schnitzel like I did when I was in Germany a couple of years ago. So there's lots of different ways we can incorporate those local favorites. And then we'll also have selected meals included. Typically, breakfast is going to be included, and we really do a great job at finding the hotels that have a really good selection for you as far as the breakfast. And then we will have a couple of lunches, maybe a couple of dinners that are going to be included in the package. And we try our best to do it so it's logical, right? So if you're in destination, you don't necessarily want to eat at the hotel. However, sometimes it makes the most sense to eat at the hotel, but we try our very best to use local restaurants whenever possible. And of course, transportation from place to place, that's going to be included as well. And then we use superior hotels, first-class hotels, and those accommodations, those are going to be the Globus level hotels at a really great price. So here's one of my favorite things, and John and I talk about this all the time. Maybe you travel with a couple of other friends. Maybe you travel as a single. That's one of the beautiful things about Globus is you could travel by yourself, but you'll never be alone. You might be in a room that is just for you, but each day you're going to have great people to go out and see the world with. And so we do have with a lot of our products, single supplement waivers. Oh my gosh. That is a great savings, right, John? Just shake your head. Yes, you love those.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So with the Escapes by Globus product, we have up to 5 single supplement waivers per departure date. So the early bird gets the worm. So if you are looking for a single supplement on a particular destination, let's get that taken care of really, really soon, because what I love about it is we have stuff all the way into 2025. So, there's no reason if you are flexible and you know where you want to go, that if you need a single supplement waiver, we should be able to get you one. Okay, so remember we talked about this. October, November through March are the travel dates. We have over 80 itineraries. We started out with like 10 and has just grown to be such a popular way for people to travel. So over 80 itineraries. We do have air-inclusive offers that are available from time to time. And they are unique itineraries. When you compare some of these itineraries to what we have in our regular Globus and Cosmos lineup, they're similar, but sometimes they're just straight up different. I mean, we have like a Sicilian itinerary that we don't have with Globus. So there's some neat things like that you can really sink your teeth into and see the world. And like I said before, we are open all the way through the first quarter, so January, February, March of 2025. That's pretty fantastic. So I wanted to highlight when we were talking about what I would talk about tonight, I wanted to highlight some of our best sellers, but kind of bucket list. Okay. So maybe you're thinking about, Robin, you said it would be colder. I'm a beach person. I want to go to the beach. Okay. You can do the Costa Rica Escape. And so really great price point. And what I love about it, when you're looking at the map here, notice the green dot is always where you start. The red dot is where you end. Okay. If the circle has a number in it, that's how many nights you stay there. Okay. So you start in San Jose for one night, then you go to Arenal for 2 nights. Then you're going to make a little part of a day stop at Arenal volcano. And then you go to Monteverde for 2 nights. And then you'll end with one night back in San Jose. Really a great, nice pace. You've got, breakfast each day. But what I love about this one is when you wake up, you don't have a long ride to go do the hanging bridges or go see the volcano in Arenal. You're right there. You're kind of moving around, and it works out really nicely. This is also a great spring break trip, but that is definitely one that you need to look at sooner than later. Okay, because those will go fast. This is a great multi-generational vacation as well. And I always have to put in the adorable little sloth that just, you just thought they have such cute eyes. All right. But I wanted to also give you kind of an idea of what to expect. So here's what we do on day 3. You can tell here you get breakfast daily. And on this particular itinerary, you'll have some guided excursions, but then you're also going to have some excursions that you can purchase before you even leave on the trip, or you can purchase when you're on the trip. So you have these itineraries, these choices. Like there's one that's a paddleboard trip, or you can go horseback riding to a waterfall, or maybe you want to do the sky tram and the sky trek that takes you kind of up so you can see everything that's going on in the rainforest. So a wide range of things, different price points, but you do have access to doing lots of different things on your vacation, not just waiting for, okay, it's time to eat dinner again. You can get out and be active on this Costa Rica vacation. Scottish Highlands Escape is another very popular itinerary. The Highlands, of course, a lot of movies are filmed there. And so we have a lot of people who want to go check things out. But what I really like about it is it's a very comprehensive vacation. So if you're somebody who has a bucket list and you're marking stuff off, you will see a lot of great spots. I mean, St. Andrews, you'll get to see St. Andrews, Edinburgh, of course. Inverness is a great little getaway that I think you'll be really surprised at how much you fall in love with that. Oban has a great resort that we use in that area as well. So I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. But what I really like, it's Edinburgh to Glasgow. It's a nice pace. So, you've got a couple of 2-night stays in there, and you have some breakfasts included and 3 dinners. So for $9.99 a person for 6 days, it's a really great rate. I can't stay, John, you're in Kansas City. I can't stay in Kansas City for 6 days for that and get breakfast daily. I mean, it's a steal.
Indeed.
Okay. So I also wanted to kind of highlight what some of our hotels look like. So on this particular itinerary, we will use the Leonardo Royal Hotel Edinburgh Haymarket or similar, but this is considered a superior first class hotel. We also sometimes will use brands that you're more familiar with, like Marriott, the AC Hotel by Marriott. They're in Inverness, and has great views. And then speaking of great views, the Oban Bay Hotel is a beautiful resort. This is just one of their public spaces, but I wanted you to see because they're right there on the water. So these are also great opportunities for our partners because we fill their hotels during the regular part of the year. They actually came to us and said, how can we get more business in the off season? And so that was kind of the birth of this whole plan. Imperial Escapes is one of my favorites, actually. This and the Swiss Escape, I really like. Maybe you've heard a little something about river cruising, and maybe, for whatever reason, you just haven't tried it yet. these are some of the most popular destinations when you're river cruising. Now, Prague obviously is not on the river, but a lot of people extend when they do a Danube river cruise. But if you want to see some of the best cities that you can find on a river cruise at a fraction of the cost, Imperial Escape is a really good way to do that. And especially in December, like from Thanksgiving through December, you've got Christmas markets. So this is a really affordable way to make your way from town to town. And Vienna has some great Christmas markets. Well, actually, all three cities do. And so that's kind of a fun way to look at that as well. So again, nice way. Maybe you want to give your family the gift of travel and you want everybody to get together and do a trip. This is a great trip for you to try out. So much history. I mean, just breathtaking views, of course. And for example, in Vienna, you do overnight in Vienna. You will have a guided tour of the city. You'll go to St. Stephen's Cathedral and get a great tour of that facility. But then you also have the opportunity, if you wanted to do a classic Austrian dinner. Now, this tour already includes a couple of dinners. This would be an additional dinner that you would get, which will give you a very, it's a really great affordable way to immerse yourself in the culture and then also check off another meal that you don't have to worry about. You've got it all taken care of. Now, the Irish escape is one that is always at the top of people's lists because especially if you haven't traveled to Europe yet, you know, they talk a little different, but it is English technically, wouldn't you say? Yeah, it's still technically English, depending on how thick the accent is. But I had to put in a picture of one of my favorite pubs. I haven't found a pub over there that I don't like, but I just keep checking different ones out. And it's fun, even if you're not a drinker, and I'm not even a drinker. I like going in because they usually have somebody with a guitar singing, you know, doing these drinking sounds, and they're just so fun. So it's another one of those great ways to see the world. And this is very similar to a tour that we would do in regular season that would cost a couple of $1,000s more. If you don't mind it being a little chilly, not a problem. This is a great opportunity. You'll still see the Cliffs of Moher. You'll go to the Ring of Kerry. You'll get to kiss the Blarney Stone if you want to. You've got an overnight in Waterford, so you can actually do the tour of the Waterford Crystal Factory and pick up some Christmas presents or just to upgrade what you have at home, whatever you might want to do. And the whole thing is round trip out of Dublin, which makes it super easy as far as airfare goes. So if you're looking for your very first trip to Europe, Ireland is a great way to start. And this is one I wanted to point out the hotels as well, because the Gibson Hotel, this hotel room doesn't even begin to give it justice. But if you're familiar with U2, Bono, I have stayed here and I walked past this huge mural and it's Bono's head. Only to find out that he's one of the owners of the hotel. I thought it was so weird. I was like, wow, that's the biggest photograph of a person's head I've ever seen. But I guess if you own the hotel, you have to do what you want to do. And then the Granville Hotel, the Templegate Hotel. Now, this isn't a guest room in Templegate. That's the restaurant / pub. So I wanted to make sure you saw that. That's a pretty cool place to hang out.
Yeah.
They got a lot going on, right, John?
They got a lot going on.
But it's a lot of fun going on.
Yeah.
Now, we talked a little bit about this before, but you know, a lot of people like to follow their family trees and then kind of like the most recent My Big Fat Greek Wedding, they go back to where they're from. You know, you find out that, oh, you thought you were Italian, you're actually Sicilian, which is a little different. So this is another destination that we just started offering a couple of years ago. It's harder to get into because of the smaller airport. There's not as many options, but it is a fantastic vacation option. If you fell in love with the main part of Italy, you're going to love Sicily. It always makes me think of the Golden Girls. Because the grandma, she was from Sicily. Oh, John, I know you watch the Golden Girls every night.
I DVR it.
So this one is going to be from Palermo to the Taormina Riviera area. We've got breakfast, we've got lunch included, and 3 really great dinners. There's no such thing as a bad dinner in Sicily. And it really, you get Mount Etna, you get a lot of great stops in Syracuse along the way with some of our best local guides reside in Sicily for sure. So, I mean, just some breathtaking views. And again, this is one of the days on day 5 where you'll actually get to experience one of those local favorites. And in this one, it's an Orencia tasting and some free time on your way to the Riviera. But Orencia, it's that it's like a risotto that is in a ball, and then they kind of deep fry it. It's a common appetizer. So you'll get to taste a couple different versions of that. So, like I said, one of the best ways to immerse yourself in the destination is to try the food. So we like to do that as much as possible. Now, here's the really cool one. I told you this is one of my favorites. I haven't done it yet. I really, really want to do it. And people just rave about it when they come back. I was actually just in Zurich. So you start off in Zurich, you're going to head down to Lake Geneva, and you'll get to see some castles. And when I say castles, not ruins of castles, actually castles. You'll do 2 nights in Lucerne, right there on the water. That's what that top picture is a picture of. And then a place that is near and dear to my heart, you end in Lugano, Switzerland, and that is where Globus headquarters are. We won't take you to Globus headquarters. That wouldn't be very interesting, but it is a beautiful, beautiful place. And from here, you can easily add on, if you wanted to, Lake Como. There's some other places that you might want to add on. So sometimes you can actually link 2 different escapes into one big trip and save on your airfare. So that's something you might want to think about too. But a couple of breakfast daily and 3 dinners. It's a really nice package as well. And then on your day in Lake Geneva, you can actually add in lunch as an optional excursion, and it has a chocolate experience. I mean, who doesn't love a good chocolate experience? But it's neat because you're going to get, as you're going through, you're still going to have sightseeing every day for a portion of the day. That's part of who we are as Globus. But then you'll have some optionals that, maybe you want to take advantage of them. Maybe you don't. We also have a great app. So if you decide that you want to go out exploring on your own, it'll give you suggestions for shopping or dining, anything that you want to do. I just used it with my husband when we were on Avalon, and he's a techie guy, and he was like, this is a really good app. So if he thought it was a good app, it's a really good app. All right. Now, we only have one tour right now, one escapes package that is in the US, and that is America's Canyonlands. And you'll see we cross off a really good itinerary, of a lot of national parks. It's going to be round trip out of Las Vegas. You get to stay at Treasure Island or similar, but you'll hit the Grand Canyon, you'll hit Monument Valley, Arches, Moab, Dead Horse Point, which is a state park, and then Bryce Canyon and Zion Canyon. So if you want to knock a lot of these off your list, it's a great itinerary for that. Okay. Oh, I just love this picture. I could stay on this picture forever. But one of the local favorites on this particular itinerary, when you're in Monument Valley, you have you're there in the Navajo Tribal Park, and you do a four-wheeler drive tour with a Navajo guide. So you have a great guide that's going to take you all around and tell you the stories and all the history of the area where they grew up and all of that great information. So again, just a little different twist on how you get to find out more information about your destination through those local favorites. Now, I don't know how much more, I mean, really the name of it says it all. Lisbon to Madrid. There's nothing more you need to know from there. No, it actually coincidentally starts in Lisbon and ends in Madrid. I mean, isn't that amazing how that works, John?
It is.
I mean, we could have thrown something else. No. But Portugal and Spain are both very popular right now. And there's a lot of different reasons for that. But the food, of course, the people are very friendly. And along the way, we do stop in Fatima for a couple of hours. And so we've got time in Porto, which is a lovely city that
Love
has
Porto.
Oh, yes. And then, of course, if you like wine, this is a great place to check out some great wine. And of course, we include wine with our dinners, and some people include it with their lunches. It just depends on who you are, right?
People do.
Some people do. And then one of the local favorites that we include on this is a wine tasting and dinner at a local hacienda, so at a local house. So how much better can you get when you get, the night before you go, you get to say goodbye and have a lovely night with your friends that you made on the tour, because you always make friends. All right, Greek escape. Greece is super hot thanks to some movies and some other things that have been going on. And this is just one of the Greek escape choices we have. We have this one happens to have 2 nights on Santorini. We have one that features Mykonos. So we have a couple of different choices for you. But this one will include that you have to fly from Athens to Santorini and so forth. So it's, you're going to cover a lot of ground. Greece is not flat. Athens is not flat. So I always want to remind people, this is going to be a very, you're going to walk a lot. And if you like to get your steps in, you're going to get your steps and about 7 other people's steps in for the day. But this is where so much it all started, right? So if you are interested in seeing that and getting great food, a lot of history, this is a fantastic trip. And again, this one is round trip from Athens. From $7.59 per person based on a double, or if you get one of those single supplement waivers, but it's 9 days and 2 of them are spent on Santorini. How nice. And on day 4, you will have a cooking demonstration, and you'll learn how to make a traditional appetizer with tzatziki. And this it looks beautiful. I would try that over and over and over again. So food seems to be a central theme in my presentation tonight. I guess I was hungry when I was putting it together.
It seems the thing to talk about at dinner time, doesn't it?
It does. It does. Hopefully we'll get everybody to dinner here in a few minutes.
Exactly.
And then, of course, Italy and Ireland and Scotland are probably our top 3 year in, year out. They kind of move around of who's the number 1 destination. But of course, Italy is always up there. It's on a lot of people's bucket lists. And this one hits the big guys. You're going to do Rome, Florence, and Venice. If you only think you're going to get to Italy one time in your life, this is a great way. You saw the big 3. It'll knock them out. But then there's other people who say, well, I want to get those done, but then I want to go to Tuscany and just stay in Tuscany. And we can do that for you too. So just keep in mind, if you're checking things off of a bucket list, you want to talk to us, because we have over 700 different vacations. We go to 6 continents, over 500 countries. I'm sorry, over 80 countries. And it's our pleasure to take you there. For the last 95 years, we've been doing this. So not too bad there. And this, I love this, because this is the chapel here that you'll get to see in Assisi. It's the Basilica of St. Francis. I just thought the way that they got the lighting in this picture was just so amazing. And And again, this is a day that um, you'll have some guided time. And then you'll also have some time where you're moving from Rome to Assisi to Florence. And then that evening, you could do an optional dinner there in Tuscany. So a lot of different things for different people, depending on what you're interested in doing. So that brings me to a close, but I did want to remind you, everything that we have here that I talked about, those prices are land only. We can add air for you. And I also want to remind you, and I know John and all of his team will remind you as well, travel insurance is the best gift you can ever give yourself. I know you're sitting there going, Robin, but when I sign up for a trip, I'm going. I know I'm going. We all think we're going. Sometimes things happen around us that we can't control. And I want you to be able to control and protect your investment and help yourself when things go wrong. I'm a professional traveler, and I just filed a claim today because one of the airlines lost a piece of our luggage, and they never got it to us on our vacation. We just had it, they sent it home rather than trying to find us. But we had travel insurance, and that's what it's there for, is to catch you if something goes wrong. So I'm so glad that you spent the time with us tonight. I hope that you will enjoy your next vacation, and I hope it will be with the Globus family of brands, and maybe even with an Escape, but definitely with MOA Vacations and Brenco Travel.
Well, thank you. Before we go, Robin and I were going to do a Q&A, like we like to do at the end of all of our webinars. So if you scroll or put your mouse over the bottom of the screen, you'll see a little Q&A. And we've already had a question. I see we got a second question. Before we get to the questions, I just wanted to add on to a couple of things that Robin said. And one of the things she talked about, and we had like what, 8 examples, and how many different escapes did you say there are, Robin?
There's 80 total.
80. So yeah, so we looked at 8 of 80. So if you're looking at going someplace on an escape, and chances are there's a 90% chance that Robin didn't talk about the one that you want to go on, give us a call. Just let us know where you want to go, or drop us an email if that's easier, and just say, hey, I want to go to wherever that is, and we can certainly let you know what those options are. But I wanted to talk real quick before we get to the questions about airfare. And when you talk about less crowded on the land, you also need to keep in mind that airfares are going to be lower and the planes are going to be not as crowded. A lot of times in the summer, people have difficulties finding schedules that they like because the planes fill up so quickly during peak season. You know, can't get the seat assignments you want, all that. But come kind of the theme of the savings possibility, you know, travel for less, travel more kind of theory, that, you know, if you can spend half the price, you can do twice as much travel, is the fact that airfare is going to be less expensive as well. And you also, I think, are going to see more or do more on your trip. And as an example, this summer, we did a group that went to Dublin for the Navy Notre Dame game. And there were 50,000 plus people that flew into Dublin that weekend to see the game. And the amount of time we spent on our bus trying to get through traffic. And I know that's probably peak of it is, but I've done other tours, and you know, if you're going at a peak time, that the bus is, you know, the bus has to get from point A to point B, wherever that is, even if it's within just the city, or from one town to the next. And if you hit traffic, that's time you're not going to be sightseeing. You're going to be sitting on a bus trying to get through traffic. And then one other thing on singles, and I see we got a few more questions, and we are going to get to those. We're not going to go till we answer them. But the thing of the 5 singles that that Globus has is not just on escapes. That's going to be on, you know, if you go during peak season, you know, because let's face it, I mean, sometimes there's a destination that you want to go to, but the only time you can go or you want to go or whatever it is going to be peak season. Or if you want to do a river cruise or whatever that may be, is if you're a single, you really need to look at the Globus family, because they really are out there offering those 5 free rooms, or there's 5 free cabins if it's a cruise with no single supplement. Most of the cruises you're going to find are a 200% supplement. Tours a lot of times going to be in that 150 range. So it's a substantial savings. And then Robin, you touched on it real quick. So kind of the first question is, you kind of alluded to pre's and posts.
Yes.
I think a lot of people are going to look at this and go, a lot of these are 6 days, 7 days shorter. Pre's and posts are available, correct?
Absolutely. So typically we can do up to 2 pre-nights, up to 2 post nights. And I really do, again, I have to draw from my most recent experience. We were flying over to do an Avalon sailing. We went in a day early into Zurich, and then we're going to join the group on the first day of the sailing. We spent that whole first day trying to get there, so we didn't miss anything. We just got to Zurich about 5 hours later than we thought we would, but we built in that extra day for that reason. But you might want to be in a destination 2 days early because you want to get over jet lag and you want to see a city for a little bit more time. So yeah, that's definitely something that we can look at. Same thing for the back end. If you are interested in extending because you want to spend more time in Amsterdam or wherever it might be, that's definitely something that is available.
Excellent. All right, to the questions. First question somebody asked was, how big are the itinerary groups?
So we do have some groups that are called small departures, small group departures, and those are on average 24 passengers. But if it is not a small group departure, typically about 36 passengers is our average for a full coach. When we start to get more than that, we'll add on a second coach. We won't just keep cramming people in the bus. But and another thing, I don't know if you knew this or not, John, but the buses, the coaches that we use, okay, so they're very nice. I mean, I could talk about a bus for a long time, but they have this special button that moves your seat away from the other seat about 2 inches. It's the coolest thing, because if you don't want to sit right on top of your spouse or your travel companion, I just tell my husband, I go, hit that button, move over. And it's so cool. It's my favorite button.
There you go. Need one of those for the home, right?
Yes.
There you go. Okay, so we had a question. Do you have dates established for these trips? And I think I mean, I can answer that. Yes, they for all of the 80 itineraries, they will have departure dates. And are you saying that the departure dates for escapes we have through 23 and 2024, right? And then I guess it would be Q1 of 2025.
Correct. Yep. You guys have access to all of them.
Yes, so they are preset dates. We had I love questions like that. Is it possible to combine Ireland and Scotland together and back to back? So is that two options? Is there an Ireland tour and a Scotland tour you could do back to back, or is there a tour that does Ireland and Scotland both?
So I don't have one that does them in the same itinerary,
Okay.
but we can get it if they don't match up perfectly. We could do a pre or a post night between them. So yeah, if you could be away for that period of time and you want to take advantage of one airfare package, that's absolutely something you can do.
Do Ireland and Scotland with escapes for what you'd pay to do one of them during the summer. There you go.
Absolutely. Or use the savings to upgrade to premium economy or a better seat for your flights. We can do that for you too.
That would be the questions we have through this juncture. So unless no one else has any questions, you can see the numbers, you can see the email addresses. I'm sure tonight you're going to think of more questions. Hopefully when you get the webinar, you share it with friends and family you'd like to travel with, and they may have questions. Give us a call. Members of MOA, obviously you have the 5107 telephone number. If you're not in the military, just give us a call at Brenco. As I said, same Robin, same me, same travel agents, same buses. So no difference there whatsoever. So I want to thank everybody for joining. We don't do a lot of these combined webinars, but we also don't do a lot in the evening. I feel guilty enough asking Robin to take an hour out of her workday, but she's actually working late this evening. So I want to thank her for taking an hour plus this evening to talk with us. And of course, well, two people are interested in Ireland and Scotland back to back. We'll have to put that together. We'll get that together. Give us a call or give us an email, and we'll see if we can't find those dates so we can get back to both of you. Maybe everybody wants to do the two of those. But anyway, back to where I was. Now I swear, whenever I start to say goodbye, then I just didn't click that one. I already answered. Anyway, so Robin, thank you for skipping dinner with your husband, abandoning your children, and spending the evening with us tonight. So I'm going to turn it over to you for the final word.
All right. Well, it's my pleasure. We can do this all the time. And, I just love talking about a product that I'm so proud to represent. And I love to partner with MOA Vacations and Brunco, specifically with John and his team. They do a great job, and they will take care of you from beginning to end. And so will we. So that's a nice thing about our partnership. So have a great evening, everybody. Thanks so much.
Thank you, everybody. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.